Okay, so this is the default um, view for, we're working under a, we're supposed to work under motion. Okay, so Photoshop calls it motion. That's the workspace. I'm gonna go ahead and reset motion. All right, so this is the default setting. These are the frames for your video clip or for your stop animation. Notice that it kind of defaults to a widescreen mode, because for video, you're usually dealing with kind of a longer rectangle. So right down here, this is known as the timeline, right? And if you double click it, it goes away, right? And here is where your stop frames are going to appear as we create them, okay? So if we go to this option here, we're actually doing a frame animation, okay? So it's that simple. You just toggle from a video timeline to a frame animation. And then what's gonna start appearing over here, every layer, this is where it gets a little tricky, right? But every layer in the layers panel is a frame in your animation. So the layers go from top to bottom, but in the stop animation, they go from left to right. So which layer do you think is going to be the very farthest left in the timeline? Is it the one, let's say we have 10 layers and they're labeled 1 through 10. The first layer is number 1, the last one is number 10. Which one is going to be all the way to the left? Number 1 or number 10?
I think it would be number one.
Think so?
Yeah.
Thinking. Huh. Oh. Okay, so now um let's try it out. I have a feeling that it's actually layer number 10 because it's the closest layer to the bottom, which means that it's like the first layer. But let's verify this, okay? So I have my graphics Wacom tablet here. I have it set up. I'm gonna go to a brush tool. I can't find it, so I'll just press the letter V. I press the letter D to go to default foreground color is pure black. And I think let's start. What do we animate? A bouncing ball? Right? It'll do something like that, right? So at the very top of the frame, I'm gonna draw the ball out of like kind of out of frame. Oh, whoa, wow. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. What guys, it's not me, it's the race. Oh no. I'm making a circular motion on the tablet, I swear, okay? But because I have two screens, it's doing this weird, oh no. And this is where everything falls apart. We were off to such a good start. Okay, let me go to the Wacom settings really quick here. And let me force the proportion a little bit to see if it behaves better. So I'm going to the Wacom tablet folder, the Wacom tablet properties. And then I'm gonna go to mapping. Okay, so right now it's on full. I just want it to be monitor 2. Okay, so it's gonna be full, and we're gonna force the proportions a little bit, and then it's on monitor 2. Okay, so the tablet is only gonna respond to the scale of monitor 2. Okay, that feels a little bit better. Oh no, wait. For Photoshop, it has its own settings. Hold on, let's go back here. So I'm gonna click on monitor 2 for Photoshop. And then it's with the pen, and let's force the proportions. Okay, so now let's see if I can do a circle. Let's see if I could redeem myself and try to draw around. Oh no, no, I'm not using the right tool. Okay, let's go back to the brush tool. I think we have pressure sensitivity off. Let's turn it on just to give our ball, okay, okay. It still wobbles. Why does it, oh, it's hitting, oh, wait, it's snapping. No wonder. not only was the tablet not even in proportion to the monitor, it was also snapping to the guideline, right? So under view, you have to turn that off, or anywhere that you have a guideline, whatever, whenever you approach it with a tool, it's going to like snap to it, almost like a magnet. Okay. So let's go. The third time is the charm, right? The third time is the charm. Is that how the oh that's woo, that's a much better circle. Okay, so we have one frame there, right? And now we're gonna create a new layer. Why aren't they showing up here? um, our new layer is gonna have another ball that's, let's see, our trajectory is gonna go kind of like that, right? So it's gonna bounce more than once. So it's gonna kind of fall here, okay? Does the ball change shape before it bounces the first time? We're gonna drop
Yeah,
it.
kind of like a little elongated.
It
Like it's
elongates a little bit.
going fast.
Okay. So we're gonna distort this a little bit. The nice thing about Photoshop is you don't have to redraw. You can distort it. Wait, what? You can distort what? There we go. So you can distort it in Photoshop. You don't have to redraw it. Okay. So that was me using the quick transformation tool. Um, right. So you just have to click on the layer and then you can distort it. So do we want the ball? Is it the same distortion as it moves through the air? I'm gonna change this is the major axis of the ellipse. And so that line, I want it to be a curve. So this one is a little bit like flatter. And it's slowly going to change direction as we move down to the bounce here. You have to press enter to confirm the transformation. Okay, so we got two things here. Let's get a third one in here with the layer. Let's go to the brush tool. We can always adjust this because each thing is on its own layer. So we can tweak it, we could adjust it a little bit. So it's going fast and it's slowing down slightly as it hits the ground. So the next oval is going to be around there. And then it's going to get squished this way because when it hits the ground, it's going to squish the other way, right? So remember that when you have frames, the closer they are, the slower that action is going to be. The further apart, the faster that is going to appear when we're animating. Okay. So hold on. This is bothering me. This little tumor that it has there. Okay, so we have our ball, right? And then the next frame, it's gonna be here, and then the squish, and then it's gonna bounce again, right? So this next frame will be here. Remember that you don't want your ball to feel like it's a different size when you distort it. So I'm trying to get the same amount of volume in the ball. So there it's gonna start hitting the ground and then it's gonna get squished. So this is where it starts to get a little tricky because the bounce, right, is gonna make it go this way now. But I have a feeling that that actually has to move over. Nope. I just want one layer selected. Right in the middle. And then it has to be straight if this ever decides to work. So that somewhere around there, right? So then the next layer is gonna be the bounce a little bit flatter. Let's see if we can make it flatter here. A little flatter, bounce. There's the bounce, and then maybe we have some action lines. Okay. And then the next layer is starting to bounce the other way, starting to go that way again. So from this center, it's gonna go this way. right there, okay? And then I actually want to rotate that a little bit. That feels like it's going too much to the side. It's gotta, whenever you have a bounce, the angle that it hits is actually the same angle that it goes out. When it hits a flat surface, the angle of the bounce is the same on both sides of that bounce, okay? Growing up, me and my abuelo had a little toy like billiards game. It wasn't like a full size pool table. It was a small one that you can like open the table and it had other games in there, but we just left it on pool. It came with like 8 other types of games like foosball and like air hockey stuff, but we always just left it on pool. And he taught me a thing or two about motion and physics and how to get the pool table to behave, the balls when you hit them, how to control them. Um, so thanks, abuelo. Thanks for the life lessons in our garage, playing pool table with a little miniature pool. Abuelo! Shout out to all the abuelos in the world. So this angle comes up, and then is it fast? Is it faster when it bounces or slower? It loses a little bit of motion, like it loses a little bit of speed or momentum, right? Every time that it bounces, depending on the type of ball, right? There's balls that bounce really high the second time. There's balls that are heavier and they don't bounce as much. So they're kind of like, it'll do something like this. It'll go thunk and it'll only have like this very small and then it'll just roll, right? So I want a ball that bounces one more time and then bounces off frame, right? So that's the level of bounce that I want right now. So this one is gonna peak around here, right? So let me put a layer in between there, right? Because we can control the layers. This one is that one. And now I need an in-between right here. Or maybe two. I think two will be smoother. So this one is slightly distorted. And then after this one, this is where you might start losing track of your layers if you're not careful, right? After this layer, before this one, I need one more, which is right here. Okay. And so the ball is slowly returning to a circle here, right? In here, it's coming in kind of fast, it bounces, and then here, I want it to be a circle again, okay? So now I'm trying to follow this arc of motion, and I want one more bouncy ball right there, okay? So notice this one is a little bit elongated. This one is starting to be a little bit round, and then it's a circle here for for that keyframe, okay? So the next layer, the ball is gonna go right here. Okay, so we might have to tweak it. This is too straight. It's a little too straight right here. I feel like this has to be a little bit higher right there. So let's go back to that layer really quick before we forget. We gotta move layer 9. Nope, we have to move it a little bit higher so that it's more of an arch. And then I want to rotate it just a little bit so that the major axis in the ellipse lines up a little bit more with this trajectory here. Okay. So now I'm going to go to layer 10 and I'm going to move it slightly, a little bit. So you see how it feels a little bit more like an arch now and less of a straight line. So it's more of a parabola is what it's called, right? Parabolic form or trajectory. Those of you that know a little bit about maybe pre-cal or calculus, right? So did I just mention calculus in an animation? Oh, you better believe it. Okay, so new layer. Let's go back to our brush. Now this ball is gonna be here. And then it's gonna go right there and bounce off the frame, okay? So next layer is right here, okay? I think the ball lighter as it's moving will also give us a little bit more drama. Because when things are moving, they get a little bit blurry. So they're a little bit out of focus. So I kind of like that happy accident that I did there. Because as the object is kind of coming down and bouncing, um, right, we're kind of playing with that. We'll see how it flows, and then we have to tweak it. How many frames do we have so far? 14 drawings already? 14. And this is like less than a second of animation. So now in layer 14, hold on, I want to make sure there's nothing on that layer. Okay, so now it's gonna bounce again. Ugh, somewhere around there, right? This bounce is not as squishy as this one because, right, the ball is traveling slower, okay? Layer 15 is a bounce up right there. So I'm gonna distort that one a little bit because as it got squished, it has to grow again. And then layer 15 is kind of off frame, but it should go around here somewhere. And again, the ball after being squished needs to return to its perfect circle. So this is gonna be a larger kind of rounded ellipse, whereas this one is a little bit more squished. And let's see how this plays, okay? So we have our layers, and they should display down here. So if I go to view, I see. If I go to window, hold on. I know that there's a way to convert these into a thing. Uh-oh. Hold on. What just happened? Oh, wait. Oh, no. Is it there? Those are the little clips. Oh, is it there? Enable auto grouping, timeline shortcuts, loop playback allows frame skipping. Split playhead, move and trim, delete keyframes. Keyframes, what happened? What did I do wrong? Uh-oh. I don't know what happened. Yep,